2012 and hello 2013. The last how many minutes we've been reviewing the year that was. We started with Eugene Asis of the Film Insider talking about the biggest chismes in Philippine show business. And of course here we talked about the Hollywood Bowl, we talked about Darren Criss, we talked about Shay Mitchell, we talked about a lot of Kababayans in Hollywood. Now 2013, who to look out for? Before we went on a break, we stole your who to look out for, which is Jessica Sanchez. Who else do you have, Ted? Or who to look out for, what to look out for?
Well, there's a couple of them, really quickly. One is, I think you have to look for a movie called Philly Brown with Lou Diamond Phillips. He's been getting good reviews about that. And then the biggest one, of course, is Diego Luna's Chavez, which is Darian Bosco has a role as Larry Leong.
I am so excited to do that, and I'm hoping that that film. Why are you laughing? Did he steal your idea?
We talked about it. You know what the whole thing about that is? We're hoping that Diego Luna film may catapult the Bosco brothers and sisters and any Filipino into a higher realm of serious films.
And not only that, I'm hoping that that film will finally set the record straight. That you know, it wasn't just Cesar Chavez. Although you know we laud him and thank him for his efforts. That there was also a Larry Leong.
Oh right.
Yeah, and hoping that that film sets that straight. But see, you know, when we're laughing like this, it just goes to show, guys, that this is not scripted. We have our notes, but that we're not going off of a prompter, right?
Definitely
so that's
not.
Okay, do you have anything else to add?
You know, I was thinking about, you know, hopefully we see more Filipinos at the Golden Globes or at the Academy Awards or whatnot. You know, we had Haley Steinfeld last year or whatnot, and so hopefully we can see more and more Filipinos making that from the red carpet to the big movie award shows.
Right,
you know, that's what we're looking at.
Of course, and props to Winston Emano, also our friend in that industry, because he always sends us leads for who to cover or who to interview. So thank you to you, Winston Emano. Also thank you to Ruben Nepales and Janet Nepales.
I'm really looking forward to. I'm a big fan of all the reality shows, and I think so is America. I mean, if you look at the highest rated shows every single season, it's the X Factors, it's the American Idols, The Voice, and I think, you know, we look at the charts and you only really have Bruno Mars kind of holding down the top 10 by himself, representing for Filipinos, and so I think, you know, after having a Jessica Sanchez and a Chessa, and I think, you know, this year we're going to have The Voice back, we're going to have American Idol back, and I think we're going to, you know, we're going to have X Factor back, and so I think if we can get more, you know, Filipinos to come out and to you know, audition and to do as well as they did this year, 2013, they could take over the music slot.
Yes,
Asians and Asian Americans
never give up on your dream. Speaking of Bruno Mars, you had something about Bruno Mars.
Well, it's actually his sisters, the Lilas. They're forming they formed a new group. They're getting some buzz both here and in the Philippines, and they sound and look terrific. So watch for them in 2013.
And also sounding and looking terrific, and not only that, doing a lot of terrific things for our Kababayans back in the Philippines is Apple the App of the Black Eyed Peas.
Yes, he's scheduled to release his CD sometime next year, his first solo CD, but you know, the foundation is really taking off, both in the Philippines and here, and it culminated with the presidential award 2 weeks ago from President Aquino to Apple, which incidentally, in Aquino's speech, Apple was mentioned like at least for about 3 or 4 minutes out of a 10-minute speech. So
congratulations,
props up to the guy.
Apple. Yes, congratulations also, like I mentioned earlier, Ruben Nepales for being chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board, and we can't forget his book. And he was, when we talked to him, he was talking about coming out with a second book because it was so difficult for him to, you know, he was like, there's so many people, and he felt like he, you know, he has to do another one. So hopefully 2013 will be the year of the second book.
Speaking of that, Chris, you know, you interview a lot of people as well, and you talk to them. You talk to those who've achieved so much, who've made a name for themselves. If there's anything that you gather from what they tell you, what would be your advice to people out there that are still, you know, trying, hustling, struggling to make it?
Well, I think, you know, if we're just talking in general, I mean, it's all about how hard you try. But if we're talking about Filipinos, I think, you know, every year that we do this, we can see that more and more Filipinos are taking over in music and dance and theater and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with being a doctor. There's nothing wrong with being anything. But if that's not your particular path, I think the more we've talked to Filipinos in Hollywood, the #1 thing they've said is, look, this was my dream. I went for it. And even though maybe people didn't understand it, I was successful. But if we're talking just in general, it's really about, you know, honing your craft, coming here for the right reasons. And then, you know, you talk to all these celebrities who, you know, one day when we did the very first Twilight premiere, half of the cast, that was their first audition.
Yeah.
They went from being a no-name,
Wow.
never acted in their life, to auditioning and becoming one of the biggest actors in Twilight.
And
so,
I have the answer to that. I think it's two P's, not Ted. As a producer, you also know that. As somebody who covers, I would say passion. As long as you're pursuing your passion, I think you're in good hands. But also at the same time, preparedness.
oh, of course.
Right?
Definitely.
Because when you have passion and when you're prepared, when that break comes in, you got to be prepared to just grab it, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The other P to that is perseverance. I think you can never give up, and that's evidence because next year, Martin Rivera, our good friend, is celebrating 30 years in the show business.
Congratulations, Mart. Is he having a tour also? So he's having a concert
Let's
here?
cross our fingers.
Yes, okay.
And talk about perseverance, somebody's having a 7-year anniversary of her own television show. So I think it just shows, you know, if you work hard and stuff, it can happen. So.
And like you, Peter, I know that Pacific Rim just branched out to now front row features. What can we expect?
You can expect more red carpet. You can actually, I'm slowly branching out into the Philippines too. You know, we actually, I missed out on talking about with Martin last week because my cousin actually is good friends with him.
And you know, we
So,
should
you know,
thank
everything is we're branching out everywhere as much as we can, also to represent Filipinos and just entertainment in general.
So thank you so much for being with us all through the year of 2012. We hope to continue working with you guys for 2015. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us. Have a great New Year, everyone. Enjoy the weekend.